Welcome to the ASCAP Expo.
Thank you.
Is this your first time here?
No, it would have been my fifth, but last year I had a premiere at Tribeca, so I couldn't make it. I had to ask for a refund. I had my badge.
But that's a good excuse.
I'm very happy to be here. And I think it really does get better every year. I mean, it started out great. That's why I came back. But I'm floored. This is really outstanding.
Wow, thank you very much. That's great. So tell me, what exactly is it that that appeals to you about the expo? What have you noticed?
Well, I'm a firm believer that musicians, humans in general, but I mostly care about musicians because I am one, can't exist outside of a strong community. Creatively, business, in terms of business, in terms of income, in terms of moral support, and this is really the best incarnation I've seen ever, because it's such a stylistic United Nations, and that's something I very much believe in anyway. I think the compartmentalization that we are sometimes used to, concert music, film music, pop music, whatever, we're kind of forgetting that these are record bin categories. These are not musical categories. And so a place like this really, an event like this really helps bring together, is an opportunity for these quote-unquote tribes to not be so separated anymore, because the separation really is very artificial.
Yeah, absolutely. That is very, very true. And people from all walks and all genres are here today.
Yes.
So this is also the topic of your panel this morning, really. Tell me a little bit about what you guys talked about on your panel.
Well, it's kind of interesting because, again, there needs to be something in the announcement. So it was concert composers creating diverse careers, I guess. But I never really thought of myself as a concert composer. I write music, I create music, and there are various different outlets for it or reasons to do so. But one of the things that really was at the heart of the panel were unusual activities that helped each one of us on the panel really somehow make a mark artistically and or business-wise. And for me, that was a film competition that I put together 3 years ago, where I had filmmakers all over the planet shoot visuals to my music. And we had a prize, and we had a great panel of judges, and we ended up taking the whole thing to Sundance. And it became a much bigger event than initially planned. And the initial impetus of it was entirely artistic. But then, of course, it became everything from an artistic event to, or a piece of art, to a business vehicle, to a community building vehicle all at once. And it was really, it was a life-changing event for me. So
That's fantastic. That's very cool. So tell me, you don't consider yourself a composer necessarily, that you just said?
Not a concert composer.
Not a concert composer.
I write concert
Sorry.
music. I write film music. I'm collaborating with a songwriter right now on full-on pop music, but we're trying to bring some of the film and experimental attitudes that I have from my other work into this. So I really consider myself a musician.
Yeah.
Except for I write it down instead of playing it live. But
Right. And sort of not boxing yourself in is probably a huge part of what helps you make a living in music creation these days.
Absolutely. I think, there are specialists still that are doing quite well with that, but I'm starting to think that may actually be all on its way out. For me, certainly, any one of these could not sustain me, but together they do. And so, and for me, I'm really starting to learn over the years that it all goes hand in hand. The different things do not only sustain me from an income point of view, but they really feed each other from a creative point of view, much, much, much more than I really thought they would.
Yeah.
And it makes me much more me as a creator. That particular blend that I'm working on, than I could be if I'd really tried to pursue just one of them. I really find that I dry up creatively if I'm on one track for too long. So I try and keep it nice and all over the place.
Yeah, that can be turned into a really incredible piece of advice, which is diversify. Keep an open mind in your art and in your work.
And I think it's really a hard thing to sometimes stick to, because the world seemingly keeps telling you to specialize. But I think there is some truth to that, but it's almost I like to think of being a creative as you really have to master the art of schizophrenia. You have to really be able to be two things at once. And so while in one hand you really have to get deep into the needs and the art of film scoring and the process of it and the business surrounding it, at the same time you got to also realize, and I think that's really at the heart of the matter, this is an age of incredible, there's an incredible amount of music creators out there right now, all excellent creators. So you're up against a lot of quote-unquote competition. What makes you unique is the one thing that will keep you in the game, no matter whether it's songwriting, concert music, or film music, or any other outlet for music. And so that, to me, is at the heart of it. While you do have to get deep into everything that you do, that whatever your particular blend is the one that will make you stand apart and ultimately be the impetus for the other person to say, no, I want this person to do this music because that's who they are. I kind of see us all becoming a lot like actors. You get hired for your particular face and presence.
Right.
Only your face and presence is a musical one. And so, once you're past a certain class, is Robert De Niro better than Chris Cooper? No. They're just utterly different characters. And so that's really, I think, so if you're a Chris Cooper, you got to be the best Chris Cooper you can be. And I'm trying to do that musically.
Wow, that's incredibly well said.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for being here.
Oh, my pleasure.